Alright, that's fine. You're good. Alright, sir. Here's your copy. Here's my copy. Any questions? My badge number's down there, and
dive on more into that actually right now. Hold on, Lucky's decided to message me. Okay. random message by Lucky. Let's go over to mesoanalysis. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'll show you the primary area where I'm going to be watching today. But overconvection should be a big time issue. I agree with, I think it was Caden. I think Caden said that, like, people are overhyping today. I do think today has quite the amount of hype, but I haven't seen like an absurd amount of it, to be honest with you. So yeah, there's your hotspot, very clear hotspot for tornado ingredients today across central Nebraska. That's going to slowly drift more to the north. So I really don't think that's going to move too much, but it is going to move a little bit more northward, and then also increase in favorability. And then if we look at instability, you could see a small area is up to 5,000. Pretty good destabilization occurring out here in northwestern Missouri. I am questioning that. No model run showed anything more than 3,000 cape. No model showed anything more than 3,000 cape out there in northwest Missouri this morning. So see if the new HRRR fixed that. The new HRRR wants that all to disappear in like an hour. Goes from 6,000 to like 4,000 in an hour. So I do wonder if that's going to play a role in storms. I don't think it will, but that's just something, a bit of a wild card that I think we should pay attention to today, just to see where that cape goes. And then you can see your cool pool that has been left out here from that afternoon convection out here in eastern Nebraska, across our enhanced risk area. I could say one thing that I am really shocked about. This is what I'm shocked about today. The placement of the enhanced risk has blown me away. I think this is personal opinion. personal opinion, I think this is terrible enhanced risk placement. I do not agree with where the placement of this enhanced risk is by any means. I really don't agree with that placement. I think the west portion of that enhanced risk is good, like right in here. I do agree partially with the southwest side of that enhanced risk, but in my opinion, the greatest risk for severe storms today is in this area here, actually on the west side of that enhanced risk to well outside of the enhanced risk, in my personal opinion. If we take a look at the tornado ingredient, rather the tornado probabilities there, you can see the SPC does have a 5% actually extending well outside that enhanced risk, which is really good. I agree with that. The wind risk, they have that 15 sig. That's new. That 15 sig is freaking huge. That is a ginormous 15 hatched. Gracious day. 106,000 square miles. That thing is a huge hatch risk for damaging winds. Big change there on the 4 o'clock update. And then the hail risk, I agree with that as well. See, the hail risk, I like that placement. That's a lot better placement than the enhanced risk for wind, in my opinion. So I feel like that enhanced risk needs to shift. Like, take in my personal opinion, I'm going to keep saying that just so you know, this portion of the enhanced risk, chop that off and put it over here. And then I feel like that would be a good enhanced risk, in my opinion. But we'll see. I don't have a lot of confidence in things growing upscale tonight. The National Weather Service, if you read their newest outlook at the SPC site, let's see. Did they take it off? Somewhere in here, they mentioned an intense MCS with winds of 80 miles per hour. I don't see that. Overall scenario, low severe probabilities. Okay, that's for the mid-Mississippi Valley. We ain't looking out there. That's closer to Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Let's see. Yeah, they don't mention it anymore, so they did take that wording off. Might be on one of the MCDs. I'm going to take a quick look at the Tornado Watch MCD. So we already have our Tornado Watch, but the MCD for that watch being issued, a severe MCS is forecasted tonight with increasing damaging wind potential, significant wind gusts over 75 miles per hour appear likely. So we're looking at a quite notable risk for damaging winds, and I don't see a model run that shows that outside the NAM 3K, which even the NAM 3K is downtrended on that damaging wind potential to some extent. It still shows damaging winds. Let's see. Its peak wind gust is about 75, 80 miles per hour. And that's for an hour or so, and then it weakens relatively quickly after that. So I personally don't see it getting up to past 80 miles per hour, but we'll see. We'll see exactly how today plays out. I just personally, I don't really agree with the enhanced risk going that far east at the moment. And also, I want you to note the NAM, for anybody using the NAM 3K 18Z, it is significantly underdone the overconvection and is significantly overdoing the instability. It's not handling that overconvection well whatsoever. So, if there is a crazy MCS potential tonight, I feel like it's going to be right in here if that does occur. But really, I'm really unsure about that. But that's what the SPC is talking about. But right now, we are starting to see a couple severes pop off here. We've got one out here in south central Nebraska for observed 1-inch hail and radar indicated 60 mile an hour winds. We've got another severe in southwest Kansas for 1.25-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds just for 2 more minutes, so that's about to expire. One east of Denver, Colorado for observed 60-mile-an-hour winds. The main threat in Colorado today by a milestone is damaging winds. That's going to be the biggest issue out here if you live in Colorado, going into western Kansas and southwest Nebraska. Also a severe in far northeastern New Mexico for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We've had a couple special weather statements, and by a couple, I mean quite a lot of special weather statements across this portion of the eastern, southeastern United States. Nothing really that notable. The SPC dropped the slight risk for severe weather today, which in my opinion was a good call. Last night, things looked pretty good for damaging winds, and then this morning, it just looked like storms were going to struggle to fire and maintain, and thus they decided to drop that much of that slight risk for severe weather. So we'll continue to monitor out here in the southeastern U.S., but I don't think we'll see nearly as bad of a damaging wind threat today as what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was a very notable damaging wind bag across a good chunk of the eastern and southeastern U.S. I think we're up to almost 300 wind reports. I'll go check real quick if the SPC site wants to load. No, it don't want to load. Okay, well, I'm going to try a different way then. Aha, 296 wind reports across the U.S. yesterday, and a very large chunk of those were in South Dakota, Virginia, and North Carolina. Those were your 3 main states for damaging winds yesterday. Tomorrow's the biggest day of this week, right? Nope, today is. I do think tomorrow also has a chance for a few tornadoes. There might be a very conditional strong tornado threat, but today has the best opportunity to produce multiple tornadoes, possibly even a strong one. But again, I kind of feel like we've been downtrending ever since about 1:30, 2 o'clock Eastern. I feel like we've been downtrending with today's severe threat, in my opinion. So if you are just now tuning in, a tornado watch has recently been issued across Nebraska. That's this purple thing right in here with the white outline around it. So that is a tornado watch with quite high-end wind probabilities. So this is a high-end moderate probability tornado watch for wind and hail. 60-60 for wind, 60-60 for hail. And the tornado threat is actually on the lower side. There is a good chance, 40% chance of 2 or more tornadoes. So we could still see a few spin-up tornadoes. And then there is the very low chance, but definitely non-zero chance for a strong tornado today. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on any discrete storms that may be able to form in the open warm sector.
Send me the link.
Main threat today is definitely going to be damaging winds and large hail. Initially, it's going to be large hail, tornado threat, and then as we go towards the evening hours, it's going to combine more into a wind threat. And
all right, you're the weather guy.
So I think our greatest tornado risk
Either
today,
way, just
in
join the
terms
game.
of time frame, is probably from about 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'd say 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight or this evening will be our primary tornado threat. And I got to be honest, I'm trying to relay to you guys the information that the SPC is saying, like a couple tornadoes being possible.
Oh, you don't want to join?
Damaging winds of 80 to 90 miles per hour, and then the hailstones of 2 to 3 inch in diameter.
Can you show me the
honestly,
stream? Can you send me the link?
I'm not seeing that high of hazards today. I do think we could see a cell or two produce 80-mile-an-hour winds, possibly up to 3-inch hail as well. But I'm not seeing nearly as high end of a threat as what this looked like earlier this morning. And that tornado threat just doesn't look that good. So I'm still going to relay the max possible hazards for today. So the worst case scenario today is 80 to 90 mile an hour winds, 2.5 to 3-inch hail, a couple tornadoes, and an isolated strong tornado. That's the high end forecast for today. What we will probably see with these recent downtrends, most likely we're going to see a lot of storms produce 60 mile an hour winds, maybe a few 70 mile an hour wind gusts. Could still get that gust as high as 80, but probably not more than that. Hailstones, probably a few 1 to 2 inch in diameter, maybe one of 2.5 inch in diameter, and then probably a spin up tornado or two. So It just looks
Always
like
good.
over. This is bad. Like,
Fucking
if
hell.
I'm looking at this, if I'm chasing right now in eastern Nebraska and I see this, that is almost turn around, go home, call it quits type radar imagery right there. Because it is 4:48 in the afternoon here on the East Coast. That's 3:48 out there in Nebraska, which is in
Just
the
so you know,
middle
no
of
driving
your
on the
peak
road with
time
your lights
frame
on.
for daylight heating. Hence the high amount of instability, and we're just having a lot of overconvection in the primary area for thunderstorms, and that's allowing
Where's your
for,
stream?
instead of us destabilizing to what the NAM 3K was saying, what, like
Bum.
5,500, 6,000 cape out here.
That'd be fun as fuck.
Let me go see. I'm gonna go check real quick. Yeah, it was saying 5,300 instability in this area. In this area,
Nothing.
5,300 instability at 5 o'clock Eastern time, which is just 12
Yeah.
minutes from now. And in reality,
68
I don't
JA.
think we're anything more than about 2,000
Yeah.
right now. So
Sub-level
we
of
are
pain.
very much underperforming in instability out here, and that's why I just, again. I'm uncertain about that damaging wind potential, because if you guys don't know, Derecho's MCS's damaging winds as a whole absolutely love and thrive off of high amounts of instability and high amounts of downdraft instability as well. Downdraft cape. We have quite a bit of downdraft cape, especially in central and eastern Nebraska, but again, it just looks like we're having a lack of actual surface-based and mixed layer instability out here. Now, values are like right around the 2,000 range, so, you know, that's still enough for thunderstorms. But the problem is it's
Anything's
leaving a
possible if you put your
cool
mind to
pool.
it.
It's leaving a cool pool where the environment has already been used up. It leaves a capping, and so that means thunderstorms are less likely to fire later on in the evening in this area. And even when they do, they may struggle. Thunderstorms could still struggle. Even if you have 4,000 cape, but storms rolled over that same area 2 hours prior, then you know, that cool pool can still help things struggle. Let's see here. So my take on things here is the setup is falling apart. We could still see damaging winds. I don't think we're going to see as bad of a risk as what was originally thought.
505, I have the vehicle, below vehicle.
Now, in my opinion, if I were chasing today, one of the people I follow on Twitter also chose this. I'd be going for Northeast Iowa. Skip Western Iowa, skip Eastern Nebraska. That stuff's becoming a hot mess. Go for the potential of semi-discrete supercells.
He's gonna be waving at me.
Central and Eastern Iowa. They recently upgraded this area to a slight risk at the 4 o'clock update.
What?
So that's probably what I would go for. I would probably go for one of these two updrafts near Mason City, Iowa, as they're likely going to stay more discreet. There is still the chance for a slightly messier mode with these, just because we could have a lot of extra rain showers impede with it. You could see some rain showers out here, rain showers up here near La Crosse, and some of those might help impede with the overall discreteness of these storms, but still a semi-discrete to maybe a bit clustered mode is possible out here. The biggest issue with this stuff is the lower level wind shear. Like, even if it is a little bit more of a clustered mode, we could still see a spin up tornado, but the big issue is there's not a lot of lower level wind shear. So I think this will hold it from being like, you know, a crazy tornado threat. I think we could see a spin up tornado, but anything more than that is likely just, you know, too out of the realm of possibilities. But I do want to check that lower level wind shear real quick. Who knows? Maybe it's overperforming. Nope. Yeah, there's only 50 0 to 1 kilometer SRH out here. But yeah, I mean, I would probably target that storm. This storm right here looks pretty semi-discreet to me. Things can go a bit more clustered here in an hour or two, but right now I think I would really like to target that cell over any cell out here in Nebraska or Western Iowa. So we'll see. We'll see how our event plays out here in Nebraska. Again, the ceiling today is what you see in the title. 90-mile-an-hour winds, 3-inch hail, a couple tornadoes, possibly even a strong tornado. That's the ceiling today. That's like as high as our event can get. The more likely case scenario is kind of what this tornado watch was issued for. Their MCD for the tornado watch, saying 75 to 80-mile-an-hour winds likely, 2-inch hail possible, and a tornado or two possible. That's the more likely scenario. I don't know why Northwest Missouri has a bunch of instability. That's just something Missouri decided to do today. So if you're in the risk area today, if you're in that enhanced risk or slight risk area today, specifically talking about the enhanced risk, it looks like things are starting to kind of underperform. We're having some issues with the atmosphere, but it's still going to be a pretty impactful day. Very heavy rain, flash flooding, 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds, a tornado, and 2-inch hail are all likely across the enhanced risk area into portions of the slight risk area as well. Just the messier storm mode is really, really good. This messy storm mode will allow for a lot less of a tornado threat. Let me kind of show you. This should show you. This can show you really how we've trended today. So this was the... let's see. I want to get like the model run I saw this morning. Or this afternoon. Alright, so this is the 16... Ooh, let's close that out. The SPC site went down over there, scared me. This is the 16ZH-RRR. Not that long ago. What, that's probably about 4 hours ago or so that started to render in. Let's go over here. So this was the original expectation. Supercells fire off in northeastern Nebraska about 5 o'clock Eastern time. 6 minutes. Not going to happen. They begin to traverse over a pretty favorable environment, potentially producing a few tornadoes, possibly even a strong tornado or two. Large hail up to 3-inch in diameter, damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour would be possible with those storms. Towards 8 o'clock, things grow upscale behind those storms. We have some prefrontal storms still producing the potential for tornadoes, large hail. We start to see our intense MCS fire up with 80 to 90 mile an hour winds being a possibility, and still 3-inch hail embedded inside of those storms. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that MCS moves through the enhanced risk area, begins to weaken as it exits the enhanced risk area into western Iowa, and then by the time we get to 1, 2 a.m., our event is over. Which this would be, this would be a much more impactful event. That's kind of what I based my title off of, is, the SPC's wording mixed with what models were saying too. And now, ever since the newest HRRR here, we're getting another one. This is a vastly different scenario. Storms fire at 6:30 Eastern time. Very clustered, very messy. Could still get a brief tornado, some large hail of 2, maybe pushing 3-inch in diameter, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. But watch this. Boom. Messy. Within an hour of firing, everything clustered, linear, slop. 8 o'clock, peak environment right here. And look at this peak environment. Storms, because they fired so sloppy, the original storms towards 6 o'clock, 6:30 Eastern that fired, take up the environment for the storms towards 8 o'clock. And then you just end up with a big mess. And look at that, 9, 10 o'clock, your event is done. So that is kind of how we've trended. We've trended away from a very impactful day. Could have been a very long duration event from 4 o'clock all the way till like 2 a.m. Eastern time from central Nebraska to central Iowa. And we've trended to more of a focused area of localized. I combined 2 words. A focused area of localized severe storms in eastern Nebraska, maybe pushing into western Iowa as we go into the late evening hours, early night hours, and a very, very messy mode. A very, very messy mode. So, yeah, and that's the big reason for that is that cool pool. That cool pool that it's that's been left because of your thunderstorms earlier this afternoon. And this is the newest HRRR rendering in right now. We'll see how this ends up trending. But look at that environment. I mean, it's a really good environment. You know, if we just had a better storm mode today, which that was the thinking. We were thinking a really good environment mixed with semi-discrete storm mode, and that's why, you know, the SPC's wording earlier this afternoon was very aggressive, and they haven't really backed off on that wording just yet, even with the guidance backing off with how intense these storms may be today. The newest HRRR completely gets rid of Eastern Iowa's severe threat, which I find interesting. Completely gets rid of that threat in Eastern Iowa, which is really weird. Will I get anything today? Let's go check. Nope. Doesn't look like it. I think this will stay off to your north. You're likely going to be fine. Also keeping an eye out in Illinois. This is the area I'm also watching for severe storms. Bit of a surprise risk for severe weather and flash flooding later on today into tonight. But like I said, newest HRRR definitely backed off on what minimal tornado potential we had out here. My goodness, why do I have so many tabs open? I'm telling you. Let me get these all back organized together. Get closing them before my computer explodes. Okay, there we go. Let's see. We've got a special weather statement out here in north central North Carolina for Roxborough down through Chapel Hill, Durham, Hillsborough. Under that, there's a line of strong thunderstorms approaching from the west, pushing eastward. Frequent lightning, very heavy rainfall, some very small hail up to ½ inch in diameter, and could get a few wind gusts of 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Probably not going to see gusts exceed 40 miles per hour unless these storms really start to intensify. Colorado's still continuing with the isolated severe storm, mainly strong storms. And then we have a very messy cluster in southwest Kansas right now, capable of very frequent lightning, very heavy rain, inch in diameter hailstones, and then still 60-mile-an-hour winds will be possible with that as well. So another thing that is really good is these storms firing. You may be thinking, oh, those are, you know, those could be big issues because they're a bit more of like prefrontal storms. But actually, they're firing in a very favorable air mass. It's actually so favorable that we're not going to see one or two storms. We're going to see a bunch of storms explode from this. And what that should allow for is more over-convection. So that's another thing we're seeing today. We're having multiple rounds. You know, earlier this morning, we had our first round come through, which is now way off up here. And then we had our second round into the late afternoon hours back here. And then we have a third round down in here. So just this environment is continuing to see more and more weak thunderstorms. And unfortunately, this is getting a little bit on the strong to severe side now. But a lot of these are just taking up the environment for what is supposed to be a much more well-organized line of severe storms later on tonight. So these storms weren't forecasted, by the way. This was not supposed to be here. None of this was in the forecast this morning. None of this was supposed to be here. So we were supposed to just have this whole air mass fully untapped, rapidly destabilizing throughout the whole day. And then once the front pushes through towards 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time, that explodes thunderstorms into a big line of significant damaging winds. But again, we've trended further, and we keep trending further and further away from that. How's Sioux City looking today? Let's see here. So you're in the tornado watch. I think you're looking pretty good. Very heavy rainfall, lightning, going to be the biggest issues. But you are under you are under the enhanced risk for severe weather, so you're actually under the greatest risk for all significant hazards today. But like I said, it's probably been raining much of the afternoon out there, and that just continues to take up the environment. So we keep seeing these storms train over our main risk area, and every storm that trains over is continuing to take up that environment. So one storm comes over, takes up some CAPE, which is what storms use to thrive and intensify, and we've just seen a bunch of them, like literally 10 plus thunderstorms move over this general area in the last 3 to 5 hours, and it continues to take up the environment. So even though you're under the greatest risk for severe storms today, I think you're going to be all right. I really don't think you'll see much. I think mainly very heavy rainfall, localized flash flooding. Could still get a gust of 60 miles per hour. I wouldn't rule that out, but honestly, I just don't see a way this forecast verifies. Like the forecast of a couple tornadoes, possibly one strong, damaging winds of 80 to 90 miles per hour, and large hail up to 3-inch in diameter. I don't see how we see those hazards anymore. We're still going to get severe weather. Don't forget about that. We're still going to get some severe storms. We're still going to get 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 1 to 2 inch in diameter hail. But I don't think it will be as impactful as what it was looking like this morning. Oh, and then I saw people talking about tomorrow as well. Let's do an update on tomorrow's risks. So we've got a very large slight risk for severe weather across portions of the central and northern U.S. We do have a very large 2% chance for tornadoes. I think this could be upgraded to a 5%. When confidence increases, probably in the morning hours, we'll see this upgraded to a 5%. My best guess on where is... We'll go look at some stuff. I haven't looked at a few things here. Give me just one more moment. I want to check one last thing, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. Okay, my best guess for a risk upgrade is probably like right in here for tornadoes. Like right in this area, I think we have a chance for a 5% tornado risk. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy. I think we could see a few spin-up tornadoes tomorrow, but the main risk will definitely be damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and then we could see some hailstones of about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in diameter for tomorrow. But overall, I don't think we'll see an enhanced risk tomorrow, but I do think we could see a upgrade for the tornado probabilities from 2% to 5%. And then going into day 3, hold on a second. I just realized today's Thursday. You know why I kind of forgot about what day it is this was a day 4 risk. If you remember, there was a day 4 risk a couple days ago in like this area right here. How did that turn to an enhanced risk for Iowa? I was just thinking about that. Because that was a day 4 risk for Montana down through western Nebraska, northern North Dakota. Because I remember we were talking about that being a good tornado threat. How did that shift from Montana and North Dakota to Iowa? And then day 2 was supposed to be like, I think we were talking about central Minnesota into western Wisconsin. And that just fully shifted down to northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. So that just kind of set in. I'm like, wait a second. Today's Thursday. We're supposed to be tracking North Dakota, South Dakota. But nope, we shifted all the way down south. And then day 3, which is Saturday. Yep, Saturday. I'm losing track of my days, y'all. I don't see anything crazy with this. It looks like a good amount of CAPE, but pretty much no wind shear. So I'm thinking 60 mile an hour winds, a 1/2 inch hail, and possibly a spin-up tornado. But I don't think we'll see anything too crazy. Right now, very low confidence in severe storms being significant. There is high confidence in the chance for 60 mile-an-hour winds, but anything of 70 plus mile-an-hour winds, which is significant, 70 plus mile-an-hour winds or 1.75 inch hail plus, that is a significant storm. Anything even close to that, 70 plus mile-an-hour winds or 1.75 plus inch hail, confidence on that is very low. But we will likely end up with a couple severe storms of 60 mile-an-hour winds out here. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy. You know, just be weather aware if you're in that slight risk area. Will it expand into western Ohio? I do think it could go a little bit more into western Ohio. Yeah, I could see it expanding slightly down more to the southeast. It wouldn't surprise me, maybe even a bit more than that. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they don't even change this outlook over the next few days, because right now doesn't look like much potential. We did just get a Tor possible severe and observed 1.75 inch hail out here in north central Illinois. So this is that conditional tornado threat coming through in north central Illinois. A bit of a better chance back out in Iowa, but it looks like these thunderstorms have struggled thus far, which is really strange, honestly. I thought they were going to be able to really get going here. I want to go check on that. Why aren't you guys strengthening? Why are these thunderstorms not strengthening? Let's see. What is the issue? Whenever I see storms like this, the first thing I think of is lower level lapse rates. And yep, 6 Celsius lower level lapse rates. So that's allowing for these storms to slowly intensify, if not barely even intensify. So that might end up
I heard it's starting to, it's going to form in my town, and then it's going to hit my town eventually.
Hello? Hold on a second.
If you want me to.
Where is that? Hold on, I feel like I know where this is. That's down here. Yeah, okay. Why was that not tornado warned? Hold on. We are going to have to go to GR2 to see if this had any type of signature with it. All right, let's go back over to here.
Damn.
I want to see if this had any signature with it.
Me and Rod, man, fucking
no CC
shitting on that kid right now.
That's good, but that definitely definitely was rotating. You can see a good outflow boundary right here. You have a good outflow boundary just like that. Good supercell structure.
Tornadoes anymore.
Really good supercell structure, large supercell, and you can even see a clear hook echo and inflow notch right there. So that was for sure rotating. I would not be shocked if that dropped a tornado. That would not surprise me one bit. So we're going to keep watching that. If you are, let's see, this is north of Savannah, Georgia. This is in south, what is this? Do you consider this like far southwest South Carolina? I'm not too sure. But just, I would be in my safe spot if you're out here. So there is Hilton Head Island. That's Savannah, Georgia. Hilton Head Island is in South Carolina. Bluffton, South Carolina. And our area of rotation is right out here. It looks like it's in a very rural area at the moment. But it would not surprise me if this dropped or could still even drop a unwarned tornado at any moment. I'm quite surprised that didn't get a tornado warning on it. Because that's been rotating for a couple of scans here. It's been rotating for the last about 11 minutes or so. And that's pretty good rotation. This isn't weak. This is about 90 mile-an-hour rotation. So that is very, very much capable of producing a tornado. That's not considered weak rotation. It's not very strong, but it's not weak. Definitely was enough to produce a tornado. But
It's not that big.
nothing picked up on radar, so there was no notable debris signature. So that means nothing large was lofted into the atmosphere or anything like that. But we could have had a spin up tornado.
Yeah.
The other day we had a spin up tornado in Minnesota, and
Mornings
radar
are
didn't even
usually
have rotation
not
with it. So
the best because it usually
there was
produces nothing.
very minimal rotation. We had an EF0, and the National Weather Service tornado warned it. It was tornado warned. It had barely any rotation, and it was tornado warned, and it ended up producing an EF0. So you don't need this, you don't need this crazy couplet of 150 mile-an-hour winds to get a tornado to drop. It could be something as little as this, where you have now. It is definitely weakened. This is about 50 mile-an-hour rotation. That is definitely still capable of producing a tornado. Now, that newest frame just came in here 2 minutes ago, and you could see a bit more of a split here. See how there's some weaker winds?
Glorified just strong storm.
So your green stops like right here, and your red stops like right here. So that means it's not very gate to gate.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Right here, it was very gate to gate. You have the red and then the blue, which is outbound and inbound winds, right literally next to each other. Oh, and it's right back at gate to gate again. Yeah,
Holy
that's
shit,
right
they're still on
back
a
up to 80
call here.
mile-an-hour
Holy
rotation.
hell.
So I would be in my safe spot. We very easily could have had a unwarned tornado, if not possibly even another one trying to touch down here, just to the north of Savannah, Georgia. So this is in southwest, just southwest of Bluffton in South Carolina. It is almost considered strong rotation. It's at about 90 mile-an-hour velocities right now. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So now this is tornado warning. So there is your tornado warning in southwest South Carolina. So that is for 2,686 people. That's a lot more people than I was thinking. It doesn't look that populated on satellite. Oh, okay. Well, I'm starting to see more population here for sure. I see more now. So there is your new tornado warning. Weatherwise still ain't got it right now. There you go. So new tornado warning in place there. I do want to check something real quick. So if I just pull this over here. I can't pull it over there because you guys can see that screen too. Let's switch here.
Or maybe he's just a little behind on stream or something.
How about that? Now this is on the ground. Yeah, that's likely a tornado on the ground. And this could be its second tornado. I wouldn't be shocked if it produced an unwarned tornado and is now producing a warned tornado. We could just check with the probability of debris. Probability of debris is 95%. So there is a 95% chance that is a tornado on the ground. And we can confirm this from spectrum width. You can see a spectrum width increase right here. I don't know if this is going to have a ZDR decrease with it. And you could see a little ZDR decrease.
Well, there's still time.
Yeah, you could see a little ZDR decrease right in here. And then
you
could see
it lasted 2 miles and now it's gone.
Present. So that is likely a tornado on the ground. That's likely a tornado on the ground. Well, that was a bit late.
Yeah.
I get tornado warning issued. It's been issued for the last couple minutes now. So we're going to continue to watch that very closely. We're going to just stay with this right now. Hold on. Apparently there's 80 mile-an-hour winds. I want to bring back weather-wise. That beep you heard was weather-wise very delayed. 80 mile-an-hour winds apparently out here in Kansas. You said Kansas, but I see 60. That'd be crazy if that storm is producing 80. Alright, hold on. I'm going to open the Radar Omega for the first time in this stream real quick. Alright, yep, there's a report. Garden City, Mesonet has reported, or rather measured, 83 mile-an-hour wind gusts there at 5:03 Eastern. So that is observed 80 plus mile an hour winds from a mesonet in Garden City, southwest Kansas. So there you go. We have already gotten an 80 plus mile an hour wind gust
Nothing.
so far away from the enhanced risk from severe weather. So far away. Still could be a tornado on the ground right here. You can see it is moved,
Nothing.
so it's occluded up to the northwest. It is still possibly on the ground. Southwest of Limehouse in southwest.
Oh my
South
god, 80
Carolina.
miles per hour.
This kind of reminds me of like a tropical tornado almost. Just kind of the way how it spins up like that.
God, my fucking ears.
Kind of reminds me of like a tropical tornado. For some reason, this gives me a tropical tornado type vibe. Very, very interesting interaction with cell mergers here. Oh, yep. Boundaries. That will do it for you.
Humidity,
Oh, welcome to
DD.
the stream, by the way, Chip. Sorry, I missed you. So, tornado is likely still ongoing. Could be lifting though. I want to go back over to here. Ooh, oh wait, that was a new scan. Okay, yeah, that is likely lifted. So this storm could have produced 1 or 2 tornadoes. If it did produce an unwarned tornado, it would have been around this scan. The problem with this scan is the rotation looks to be in the inflow notch, like right up in the clear slot portion of the inflow notch. But I feel like that could just be a bit of bad data, because we're scanning with this scan. We were scanning right through the northern side of our storm, so I'm not too sure about that. But if we did have an unwarned tornado, it would have been at 2101Z, and then we likely had a tornado right here touchdown. Pretty good CC drop.
I can see.
Pretty obvious.
I think DOT
CC
might be
drop there
offline
at
at county corner,
2114Z,
I guess,
which
or
was
county
just a couple
to it.
minutes ago. About 6 minutes ago. And now it is fully dissipated. So probability of that being a tornado was 95% according
Is
to
it a real
radar.
person?
That dark red pixel right there my cursor's on is a 95% chance of a tornado. And you can see that's exactly where our CC drop was.
Yep.
We'll have to watch for this to try to rotate again. Keep an eye out just in this general area around Savannah, Georgia, back into just to the west of Hilton Head Island in southwest South Carolina. We'll just need to watch this because it has a very large amount of inflow here.
505, do we have any
Very
DOT
good
online still?
cutoff, and that could allow for some southerly winds to
Do,
try to ramp
do.
up an area of rotation. Might try
I
to
get
ramp
DOD
up
down
back
to
out here near
3039.
Garden City, Georgia, or possibly near the same spot, just well west off of Hilton Head Island in southwest South Carolina. So we'll just keep an eye on this. Shouldn't it be the best environment out here if I take a look really quick? You know, if we were in like central
Simmer
Nebraska
down.
type environment, then this would be a big issue. But yeah, there's actually a pretty good environment here.
I'm gonna quickly update my plate real quick.
How much 0 to 1 kilometer SRH though? That's the question. That's the big question. There's 100, so definitely could produce another
68.
tornado.
JE.
It could definitely try to
88.
produce another tornado.
Sorry, what did I couldn't catch it?
All right, I do want to go back all the way over to Kansas.
I do just flop it. Oh,
So, interesting here is the National Weather Service out here in Dodge City, Kansas.
hold up. He should be
We
coming.
got
He's
a observed mesonet recording 83 mile-an-hour winds, and it's still warned for 60. So You know, typically, when you get an 83-mile-an-hour observed wind gust, that's gonna warrant an upgrade for any severe. So, pretty strange on why that hasn't been upgraded yet.
The one in the ditch. I mean, I did. It's the one in the
Very
ditch.
strange. See if Iowa. No, these storms, it did return. Look, it's returned back up to some lightning, so we're gonna keep an eye on that near Alexandra, in North
Really
central
good.
Iowa, south of Mason City, for a threat of all hazards as it moves off to the southeast. But you can see that overconvection is going to become an issue later on. And then out here, Franklin Grove, Illinois, observed 2-inch hail with this storm. Keep an eye on that one as well. A lot more severe storms starting to pop off now.
7 days.
A
Oh
lot
my
more
god.
severe storms.
Fucking nice. Someone just got a kid that we've been fighting with for a while has
Curious,
just been
how
banned
many
for
are
7
we up
days.
to? So when I started the stream, we were at like 1 or 2. Now we're
I
at 1, 2, 3,
Didn't
4, 5, 6. We're
uh
at 13. At 13
TX admin. I
severes.
don't know who did it.
Still a tornado warning in effect. It never
might be,
went observed, so
What's his name? I can't remember his name.
so they never
Rodman, it might be
observed
Rodman.
this tornado warning. What that means is we didn't have a confirmed tornado. We had a
Oh, shit's green.
likely
Okay, I can't tell.
tornado on the ground with that, pretty good CC drop, but the National Weather Service never officially confirmed it's a tornado. They'll likely go out and survey that area, and I imagine they're going to end up finding damage based on that CC drop. Hold on, we just got a update to the warning. It is still radar indicated. So if you don't know what a radar indicated tornado warning means, what it means is a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. So you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Still very, very underwhelming event out there in Nebraska. It went from looking like one of the best events ever since mid-June to a horrible event. Like, literally, that storm mode is just, it's crazy how much
fighting with
storm mode
him.
plays a
Gosh.
role in severe weather. Like, literally, just a morning convection can completely demolish an entire tornado outbreak potential. Or thunderstorms firing an hour or two early can completely ruin an
which will
event
do
by
a lot of the heavy
taking up
lifting
the
for us.
atmosphere before it's fully.
So this is what it looks like out there where we have that tornado warning. And once again, we got 35 minutes on that bad boy. 35 minutes. And there's another, oh wow, there's another significant area of rotation that's popped up here that we've got to keep an eye on. Now that
47
might be
nonstop.
some, that might be a little contaminated here. But that's something that we've got to keep an eye on as it kind of retrogrades back towards Garden City. And notice how this little area of convergence is outside of the main tornado warning. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. We've got a lot of rotation around Savannah, Georgia right now. And currently we have a tornado warning in, the Limehouse area. But I'm really watching Port Wentworth and Garden City right now.
I was just trying to get rid of the idiots
And
faster.
look at all the traffic, man. There's people just plumb stuck on the road here in the direct path of where some of the stuff's happening.
Browser 5, can I be advised on what vehicle we're looking for?
Here is a view pretty close to Port Wentworth, which is where that rotation's starting to come together. Honestly, guys, we might see another tornado warning issued here at some point. Here's another view of that. Just a little bit down the road a little bit. She doggies. Oops. So if you are just now tuning in, we've got ourselves a tornado warning out here for portions of, honestly, areas just north of Savannah, Georgia. It's Jasper County, South Carolina. But honestly, right now, the worst part of the storm is in Georgia. And that's what we're looking at here on some of these traffic cameras. In fact, I think we're about to lose this one. We've got some very strong winds coming together here right now. And this is in the town of Port Wentworth, where we currently don't have a tornado warning, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible indicator on it. And the winds are definitely whipping out here. And I want to kind of show you again what exactly we're looking at. It's this right here, this area of converging winds that I'm concerned about. Wow.